Yeah, this is technology, isn't it? Shazi, it is the mid morning show with me, Julie Ali. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program. And do we have a bumper packed show for you? COVID-19 is big in the news and on the show this morning. We're going to talk to a woman entrepreneur. She's been at it for 18 years. Mardine Tyson, and she's going to tell us how COVID-19 has changed the way she conducts her NPO. We'll also be talking to health expert personality. He's a TV personality, radio personality, an amazing young man, Ronald Avigi, and he's going to talk to us about how he has adapted to the changing world of coronavirus. And then we'll talk to a patient in recovery from COVID-19, also a radio personality. He produces a show on Radio 702. He is Clive Moachi, and we're going to talk to him about just how his world was shaken when he was diagnosed with COVID-19, and hopefully also talk to us about his tips towards total recovery. Islamic Careline will be joining us. Shuhaida Adam, who is a social worker, is going to be talking about children and their rights. It is Child Protection Week, so that's what we're going to be unpacking on the show this morning. Mardine Tyson, someone who's been on the show several times, not only on this platform, but other platforms as well. And wonderful, wonderful to have her on the show again. You're looking great, Mardine. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. How are you doing, Julie?
I'm really, really good. Thank you so very much for being with us. Mardine, you've been doing amazing work in the space that you're in. You've been at it for the past 18 years. You've worked as a mentor to amazing young people, your son being one of them as well. He too has been a guest on the show, and I'm very pleased to say that I loved having him here. So what exactly is it that you do? You are the founder of Smart Teens, and I know that you've talked to us about this before, but we know that our audience change all the time. So for those people who viewing us and listening to us for the first time, tell us, what is it that you do?
Great, Julie. And before I answer the question, I'd like to know, what is our time frame today?
Approximately 30 minutes.
Okay, great. What I wanted to just say to the new people that don't know me as Smart Teens is that we activate potential in teens between the ages of 12 to 18. And we do that through giving them courses on life skills that they can use right the way through their life. And it's basically making sure that they're able to do it through various aspects. And we bring facilitators in that specialize in particular subjects and topics. And that's how we actually activate their potential.
Now, you don't come from a typically educational background, so to speak. You come from the business world. Correct. Why and how did you find yourself in this space?
Basically, it started when my son turned 7 years old, and my husband, Michael, was an avid scouter, and he said, we've got to do this. And when I saw the curriculum of what scouting actually covers, it's the largest leadership group in the world. They're sitting at about 30 million people across the world, and it's probably higher now when we started. So when I saw what they do, how they do it, and how they educate and mold young lives from the ages of 7 right through to 18, it just was phenomenal. I got involved with that, and that's been my background in the educational space, because I actually got involved as an adult leader and had a 12-year journey through it, and still currently busy with that at the moment.
So scouting, I know it's huge in the States and in the UK. Is it a big thing in South Africa?
Yes, it is. And it's growing literally week by week. In fact, during this COVID-19, it was the scouts that sent out programs to people because they were pulling their hair out about what do they do with their kids. And we were able to send out programs to people that they could do at home in their gardens and progress through our leadership program. So yes, it is. It's alive and well.
We've talked a lot in the past about some amazing teenagers that you worked with, particularly the teenagers that built a plane which they flew from Cape Town to Cairo. That was a beautiful story. How did you become involved with them? And I know that your son too was involved.
Correct. Merit was actually selected as one of the 20 teams to be privileged enough to build a four-seater plane, which, as you said, was built here in June previous year and then flown last year in June to Cape to Cairo. And it was a wonderful experience. And the way we got involved with that is that we'd already known about Megan through Robin Banks, who does Mind Power, phenomenal program, which I also refer my teens to. And what they do there is they do mindsets. And we actually got to know about Megan through the program, and then she decided to write her book. And then we went to a book launch, and then one thing led to another. Myself and Des decided to do something together because she came onto one of our workshops. And through one of our processes, which is called vision boarding, which helps you to learn to put your dreams onto a vision board and physically see them and affirm them every single day. She loved the process. And about 2 years later, she decided to do this wonderful project, which was the building the plane. And that's how we actually got involved. And Des knew that we were scouters, myself, our whole family. And that's how we got involved. And we came in from a assistant point of view, where we just made sure that the teens were happy every day, they were fed, their well-being was being looked after, and obviously we brought in some tents and various other aspects in the actual 3-week period, and that's how we got involved with the plane build.
That was an absolutely amazing feat and an amazing assignment. No doubt you too went through a lot of learning during this time, albeit you were one of the mentors on the program. How has it changed your thinking, Mardine? And in terms of moving on and bringing more uniqueness to the type of programming and mentoring that you do, how is that change, bearing in mind we're in the age of COVID-19 and lockdown?
Well, I'm actually quite excited about the COVID-19 because what it has done for a lot of people, Julie, is it's brought a process of what it is to educate a child differently and not to go to school every single day, because they learn from their families now. They learn from their moms, their dads, their grannies, etc., etc. And they have now got to go on to online schooling. So a lot of people have actually realized that the normal schooling system is not just the only alternative, because there are some kids that just don't fit into the box and they need to have different types of schooling. So I think it's opened a whole different process for parents and teachers to understand that our schooling is 100 years behind and we are learning a different way. Our teens are learning in a different way. We call them screen ages. Tim Elmore uses that expression in his book called IY Generation, which has been a phenomenal book. And every person that is teaching teenagers, as in teachers, adult leaders, even parents, should be reading that book. It's IY Generation by Tim Elmore. Phenomenal book. It just explains where we are at with our teens, what's happened in the last 20 odd years, and where we're going to go, and how we should be teaching our youth to be good citizens going forward. So in terms of
how has COVID-19 changed your business model? I'm thinking, I do know that you are offering holiday classes to the identified children, those kids that show the potential, and to help take them to the next level. There's also weekend sessions that you've been holding. How's that change? How are you going to move forward with this? And will you be able to get the numbers that you've managed to touch in the past?
Very good question, Julie. We have gone online. So we have already started to do free courses for study courses, as well as exam skill courses. And the last one we're busy with at the moment is called Managing Procrastination and the Power of Vision. Those are our 3 free courses that we're busy with, and we've got a whole suite that we're still adding on. So those are online courses, and the beauty, Julie, is not just to have 20 to 40 kids in the room. You can now have 50 to 100 to 1,000 kids. So we're now actually going global opposed to just being here in South Africa. So it has changed our business tremendously because we're going online.
So the first online course that you've offered as a free course, would you be able to tell us the success of the course itself, type of feedback that you've managed to get, and how many people did you actually reach by way of the course?
Well,
Because really this what you're doing and what a lot of other people are doing in this space and in this time is truly revolutionize the way we're going to be moving, living, learning, working, playing, etc., going forward.
Absolutely. Julie, it's been a process, but our study skills course and exam skills course right now was started many years ago, but a proper process was put in place beginning of last year. And we actually took a school which the neighbors were actually elephants. So that was right in the bunda of everywhere it was, up in Petersburg at least, sorry. And these kids were in matric, and apparently they have got the highest marks in their province. They've got all the matrics passed. So it was a fantastic process that they went through because Chris, one of our facilitators, Chris Dykes, went up there and did the course with them. But we also partnered with them doing coaching. So on a monthly basis, they got coached through what are they doing, how they're learning, what is their problems, how can we assist them. So with that, the process that we put through them on the actual course itself, with the coaching, we were then able to get a phenomenal result. And the result was literally in their marks at the end of the year, and being one of the highest in the province.
We'll come back to what other work you are doing and what other free courses you are offering at the moment. But let me ask you this question, and it probably has been asked plenty of times in the past. We tell that traditional schooling robs a child of critical thinking. How do we teach our children? Let's assume our kids are in a traditional government school, a Model C school, and we wanting to give them the edge. What is it that we do behind the scenes at home to help that child develop his or her critical thinking?
Thank you for the question, Julie. One of the things that we need to actually understand is self-development. And a teacher cannot give everything to that child, especially because there's a certain curriculum that they've got to go through. And bless their souls, I love teachers and they do a phenomenal job. But in terms of the critical thinking, you have to bring in other subjects and other topics into that child's life. So there is a lot of ways that you can actually do it through self-development and various courses, which I'm happy to put onto the platform a bit later that you can then send out. But for me, it's about how does your kid think in terms of their personality and their learning styles? Because once you understand how they learn and how they take information in, then it's easier to be able to give that critical thinking a better platform to be able to develop in that child.
What would you say is the best age at which you try and expose your child to a critical thinking formula? So he's being exposed in the schoolroom. What is it that the parents back home need to be doing to enhance or to carry the same thought processes through?
I would say that, your normal development stage is from 0 to 7. They are taking in information at that point already, and they're absorbing. And I've seen phenomenal kids that have understood the concepts of entrepreneurship like you can't believe. If you go onto my Facebook, there's a wonderful little video of I think it's about a 7 to 8 year old that her father was asking her all these questions about entrepreneurship and about a property and about all sorts of things. And it was phenomenal about her understanding about what the world is really all about. So my answer to that is, ideally what Smart Teens has done is from the ages of 12 to 18, but we are expanding that time frame. But you know what? If your kid is in an understanding a process, depending on what the environment is like, what is their home like, who are their parents, what are they talking about? Is it the baby language that we're doing? Is it adult language that we're doing to our kids? Their understanding is phenomenal at a very young age already. So for me, for Smart Teens itself, it's really the ages of 12 to 18 that we are actually working on, but you can start much earlier in that process.
Okay, let's go for an ad break. When we come back, we'll continue this very fascinating discussion with you, Madine Tyson. Lots more coming. Please do stay with us.
About a year ago, I went to an event that Smart Teens was actually at in the Edenvale Community Center. I got really interested into it, but the first event that you guys invited me to and said I could come for free, I was busy that day and I had a very, very busy day that day. Then one of my friends, Kriya, we were talking about how we are struggling during school and how to manage our time, about procrastination and everything. And she said to me that actually Smart Teens is hosting a course on this and how to deal with this type of stuff. And I'm actually going this afternoon. Do you want to come? And I was like, whoa, that is amazing. I would love to come. That's how I got to know about it. I actually got a notification from Kriya like a half an hour before 2 o'clock, before the course started. And I ran to my parents and I told them, this is going to be amazing. It's a free course that I'm going to just go to and I'm going to get knowledge from. Can't wait. And then when I got into it and we finished the first hour, I was like so invested in this that I didn't know how to behave, because I was astounded by the fact that I could attend a free course and gain all this amazing knowledge that was not just free worthy, but I was just absolutely astounded by the fact that I could attend that and that I could witness all of that and be affected by it also. And then I ran to them and I said, I can't believe things like this exist in the world. I genuinely cannot. And then my parents were like, this is amazing for you because you're really struggling at the moment. And the fact that you're getting knowledge and for free is absolutely amazing.
Now we are talking with Madine Tyson. She is the founder of Smart Teens, and we're trying to understand how she has adapted her business model in this age of the fourth industrial revolution and, of course, lockdown with COVID-19. Madine, I see that you are offering a whole host of free online courses, and what jumps out at me particularly is recruitment agencies, referrals in the future. We're also hearing more and more people are going to, because the world of work is changing exponentially, that also once the lockdowns have been lifted globally, a lot of businesses will be out of business. A lot of people will not be employed any longer. So do you think it's still relevant to be talking about, recruitment agencies, how to present yourself for a job interview? Because that's what I'm assuming it's all about.
It's not quite the same thing, Julie. What we're doing is that we are trying to build a database of those kids that have come onto our platforms, our learning platforms, because we get to know them. We're busy coaching them. So over between a year to 5-year period and the next 5 years going forward, we will have access to those kids that have come on our platform that have shown promise, that have shown persistence, that have shown leadership skills. So we then link ourselves to recruitment agencies, which we really have done, and say, because they are desperate for people that are, or especially youth, that is driven. So we are now able to say, here is a list of teens that have been with us for a while, and here is the opportunity to get to know your company and get on to looking for work for them. That's the connection that we have with our recruitment agencies in the future.
Martin, you're very well connected in the corporate world. You work closely with corporate, with government, with other NGOs, NPOs, and you come across a lot of young people with the most amazing ideas. I've indicated, and you are quite well aware of it as well, that the world of work as we know it has already changed. Jobs that we were used to in the past will probably become and are already redundant. How do we adapt? What do you see the world of work being like? How are you preparing your smart teens to go into this big world of ours, this changing world of ours? And it's not, it's a very dynamic world. It's going to be changing all the time. The world as we knew it in the past is never, ever going to be the same again. And people like you and I we need to adapt or we're going to die.
Correct. Julie, it's a very good question, and it's a great topic because our world has changed completely. What our normal is now never going to be normal. It's going to be a new normal. So what the advantage that we have is that our kids have already understood what screen time is all about, what online's all about. They are technically way ahead of us and will ever be. They've got a different way of learning. All of that is done right now is spin it forward so that they have got different platforms, not just, for example, Google Classroom or Zoom or Skype, etc. There's many different platforms that they're now learning to work with, and they're going to have a lot of screen times. What has been concerning for me, however, is the amount of time that they spend currently doing schooling during this lockdown. I mean, I've heard of kids sitting between 8 to 3 o'clock or 8 to 5:30 doing work, because I thought, well, when can they come and do our courses and our workshops? And when I hear the parents saying this, I want to tear my hair out, because I'm thinking to myself, what in the world are they doing to these kids that have been just sitting in front of screens all day long and engage them all day long? And in fact, they don't engage them. They switch off their videos, and I don't know what goes on behind the video, and if they're actually there in the room while the teacher's actually teaching them. So it is a very concerning factor, and our world has changed completely. So yes, they will know about how to engage with technology and screen work, etc. And new jobs are going to be formed as we speak, and people are starting to think about new ways of doing stuff, especially online. So your shop online is going to escalate. So yes, it's going to be a big change for all of us, especially our kids going forward.
All right, you have been very innovative in that you have now offered free online training from totally different perspectives, targeting, I should imagine, not only teens but adults as well, young and older adults as well. What's going to happen post lockdown once we get back to our new normal? Is it going to be business as usual for you? And if not, what's going to be different? And then tell us more about how young people and parents can access your services post-lockdown.
Basically, we'd love to get back to where we were before in terms of our groups of between 20 to 40 kids in an environment over a 2-day period. So that would be first prize. But it's not going to happen for a while, unfortunately, because of the social distancing that we have, and a lot of our processes are engaging and touching and working together as teams. So that's not going to happen very, very quickly. So we've had to find and be very innovative of different ways we can teach kids the same processes and the same information, whether it be visualization or mindsets or whatever that is going to be in the future. So we just have to find different ways of engaging those kids, and we're also going to be able to go globally as well. But in terms of the new norm, it's never going to be the same. So we are also currently still adapting ourselves and finding out ways on how to engage those kids, going forward. So it's not a total solution right now. What we're doing right now is just giving information in terms of free courses for the next 3 to 4 weeks up to the end of June, so that we can at least get people and kids up there who are still in that lockdown period of not knowing how to get over to study or to prepare for an exam, or in terms of just their procrastination process. They'll put it off, they'll do it tomorrow, they'll do it just now. And to make kids understand that if you want a result, you have to put the work in. It's not just going to appear from nowhere and just happen. So you still got to put the work in. It's how you put the work in. It's what vision do you have in the future to make sure that you sit down and do that maths exam or that assignment in science or whatever that's going to be. So we are trying to educate kids the values of being educated, the values of trying to get to their vision. So that's what we will still continue to do going forward.
Okay, my final questions to you, Mardine, is in terms of, obviously, knowing you, you have forward planned already for post-lockdown. You've utilized this space and this time very, very productively. You've gone out and you have now offered a whole host of free online courses, which undoubtedly is going to enhance all these youngsters that have signed up for it. Tell us what those courses are. How do people sign up to attend these courses? And then post the lockdown, what are you then going to be offering, and how do people contact you?
All right, so the best thing to do is to go onto our website, which is www.smartteens.co.za. Or alternatively, you can just do us an email, which is info@smartteens.co.za. We're going to do a variety of workshops, Julie. So, from your team building to your leadership, to mindsets, and listening skills, and vision boards, anger management, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that they're going through at the moment. And the other one I just wanted to mention, which is not a course but a facility, is text online counseling, because that's huge at the moment, because people are so frustrated within their own families and not being able to get out, not being able to speak to somebody, not getting hold of their friends. So that's something that you can also go onto our website, go and have a look and see how we can assist you in terms of counseling, in terms of texting, because that's huge at the moment. And also things like financial processes. Right now, we're worrying about, are we going to even be here next week or next month or, next year? So the way we've asked our teens to look at it is to look at free wills. At least get your parents to make sure that everything's in place, because that's a huge pressure on a parent, is what if something happens to me? Is my child looked after? So we offer that as a free service to you, to do a free will, to update a current will if you want to, or to start from scratch. So at least that's one less thing that you have to worry about from your financial point of view. So
these free wills, Mardine, the free wills, is it also online, or would the person have to go to your website and then engage with the site and fill it in and sort themselves out as far as their wills are concerned?
What they would have to do is just give us an email to info@smartteens.co.za and just say wills, and we'll get hold of them and get a consultant to get hold of them. They would do a 30-minute telephonic discussion with them, so they don't have to leave their home, and they can have a free will and at least have one less problem sorted out for their family.
Marvelous. Thank you indeed for all the free services that you have made available to the global community. God bless, and we'll be watching this space. Thank you indeed. Wonderful talking to you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Julie, and keep well. Be safe.
You too. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, let's go for another ad break. When we get back,